5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Thank you, Julia, for that sick fade into 2024. This is Truth Beer and Podsequences. This is the podcast where we talk about all the Cincinnati-based craft beer media that we listened to in the previous week. We get together at a podcast host, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. And thank you, Higher Gravity, for being a gracious podcast host. And as we enter 2024, I'm sorry to be a little bit somber, but I do want to say that let's have a cheers and a toast to Waldo. May you rest in peace. Waldo has a connection to Higher Gravity and to us personally, and so you're missed, buddy. Anyways, 2024 is going to be an amazing year, and go ahead and
cheers. Take our drinks.
Cheers. Take our drinks and. So, this is the podcast where we talk about all the Cincinnati-based craft beer media podcast, or media just in general, like I said. And we hope there's not too many consequences from the hosts of the other craft beer media this year so far.
So far, we've started the year off with no consequences.
No consequences.
Will that change after today?
Absolutely should change. I don't know if we're not suffering consequences if we're doing it right or not.
This is true.
As we enter this new year, so for anybody to take behind the curtain, we're going to go off script here just a little bit, although most of it is off script, except for the beginning. So, having said that, thank you to all of you who have been with us on this journey. Thank you to all of you who are new to this journey. The one thing you can't get back is time. Truly appreciate your time. If you are new, go back and listen to a few. You'll get the idea. What we do is we talk about these. We give our opinions, or not opinions. We give our version of the truth of how those happen. And so, having said that, I am Marco. I am a taproom manager. I was a brewer, and I was a brewer in the craft beer industry for 8+ years, and also I'd done a bunch of other stuff, and I am a taproom manager now. And the other voice you heard belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
I'm Julia, and I don't know what the hell kind of rigmarole was going on with those refs on rigmarole, because that was not intentional grounding.
Yeah, rigmarole.
Even Tony Romo knew it. Come on, guys, you're better than that.
Tony Romo knew it.
Be better.
Yeah, be better.
Other than that, I like to drink beer. I like to listen to Cincinnati Craft Beer Media, and I like to talk about it. I think that covers all the bases.
Unlike Mariah Carey, Julia does not go into a box, frozen box for hibernation. Julia transitions from her peak season of Beervent to her everyday season, which is Truth Beer and Podsequences season.
There are still 4 boxes over there, by the way. People. I am taking one of those Beervent boxes with me when I leave today.
I don't even know what to think right now.
Just period.
I don't know what to think about the people that haven't picked up their boxes.
It's incomprehensible.
Inconceivable.
And I think those are the pre-order boxes,
They
too.
are. They are the pre-order boxes.
So those are the boxes that were ordered in July that have the extra beer in them, and they're just sitting there gathering dust.
Having said that, we are a craft beer podcast, and the number one craft beer podcast that talks about craft beer podcast based out of Cincinnati.
I miss charting on the food and beverage podcast charts up in Canada.
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was a good time.
We hit the top 10 a couple times thanks to a sorely missed Newbert Report podcast.
Thank you for the bona fides as well. Just dropping our... excuse me, let me pick that up, the bona fides of this podcast. And as we get our voice out there, we want everyone to know, if you are a content creator around craft beer in the Cincinnati market, please find us, contact us, but also if you are, there is a Facebook group out there for us. Get on there, get attached to it, and then let's get together and help build this Cincinnati craft beer media space that we have. No craft beer podcast would be a good craft beer podcast if we weren't having craft beer, which we do. And by the way, you can drink whatever you'd like. Mm-hmm. And just because on most occasions we drink craft beer, we do switch it up. Non-alcoholic, we switch it up with spirits, we switch it up with cocktails. We do all kinds of things as far as the space. And
I've had tea and coffee before.
You know, we always have the as Julia calls it. What is it? The Cincinnati cocktail.
Yes, the Queen City cocktail.
Queen City cocktail. We have plenty of water.
Ice water, yes.
Just an enormous chilled ice water.
Stirred, not shaken.
And we do that, so you can join in with us and participate, even if you aren't having craft beer. But if you are, we're going to let you know at the top of the pod, and as we go through the podcast, you're going to hear what we drink. The other thing is we have media out there on YouTube, not just our audio episodes, but we record video episodes
on occasion.
On occasion, we they're actually, unlike other craft beer media in the Cincinnati area. If you subscribe to us on Patreon, you get actual extra content, almost on a weekly basis.
Yeah, unedited episodes to where I'll cut out the silences where we take our breaks, get more beer. But other than that, like the weird random pauses where like I'll say something that I probably shouldn't have said, and then Mark is trying to figure out, okay, how do I save this? You get all that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hilarious, sometimes it's awkward, but it's always extra for our Patreon subscribers.
Yes, and so in 2024, we are glad to have you along this journey with us. Now, that being said, I have to say this. All the thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as full-time jobs or higher gravity. If you want to get at us, you can get at us at any time you'd like, and we can tell you, or are going to tell you how to do that at the end of the podcast. Or you can read the show notes, which I'm sure all of you do.
Yeah, who doesn't read show notes?
Everyone reads show notes.
Everyone reads show notes.
Everyone reads, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that being said, Julia,
Marco,
what did you listen to, or what did you watch? Either way.
How about I tell you what I'm drinking first? We started with that, and then we just went on kind of a little tangent going on.
It's the new year, and I'm just discombobulated.
It's a new year. We're doing things a new way, but we're still going to start with what we're drinking because that's just what we do.
Let's go. Hit the start button.
I am enjoying it. The red light is on.
Oh, good.
It's fantastic. I know.
That's it. We had to put on the red light.
Oh boy. I am drinking West Cider.
I'm singing right at the beginning.
Yes, you are singing.
2024.
I am enjoying the raspberry version of West Side Brewing's West Cider, and this is my rating. It's freaking delicious. It's crisp and sweet, and I will happily drink a lot of this.
Raspberry West Cider.
Exactly. And Marco, how about you? What is in your glass?
I have a Weekend Vibes from Coronado Brewing. It's an American IPA, and it's clear. I think that's what I started the pod last week with.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're welcome. I just want to tell everyone you're welcome because we teased at the end of last week or beginning of last week's pod that we may not be back on Tuesday because of some family stuff, but we are here.
Yeah.
We are here. We are going to tease that maybe next week
sound a little different.
Be a little different.
Yes.
But we'll see next week.
Yes. How about we make sure that we are on the same page of the Cincinnati craft beer media that we consumed over the last couple of days?
Better than trading kinks.
Yes.
Yeah,
which will only make sense to the Patreon subscribers, probably.
Okay. Very good.
God. We have the Craft Parenting Podcast recap of Beervent this year.
They know we record on Tuesdays, and they could bring their box back for a voucher.
It's true. And then we also, even though it wasn't necessarily
Am I primed? Am I juiced? What's going on?
You are kind of on fire tonight. I'm not sure what's happening.
In fuego?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Yes. Even though this was not Cincinnati beer or brewery specific, I felt that this piece of content kind of touched all the drinkers and all the breweries in Ohio. So we're going to talk.
Where did it touch them, Julia?
In the giggles.
Okay.
We are going to talk about Blake the Brewery Explorer. I don't know if they've rebranded to just the Brewery Explorers yet, because the YouTube still says Blake the Brewery Explorer, but this was the YouTube video from December 28th, or I'm sorry, it hit YouTube on December 21st. It hit your podcatchers on December 28th.
And it hit your hearts on...
Every day of the week.
Okay.
Ohio Distro Laws with the Ohio Craft Brewers Association's Mary MacDonald. We have the Gnarly Gnome put out a YouTube video, What Does Age Do to a Barley Wine? And then last night, as we record this, the episode of The Weekly Pint, his resolution is to drink with us, even though he's not here.
I don't know where he is.
He said his resolution was to drink with us.
Yeah, I don't know where he is.
But he's not here. He knows where we are every single Tuesday.
Yeah.
Disappointing. Where's my button?
Disappointed!
Exactly, Kevin Sorbo.
I want to congratulate you on that finally being an appropriate volume.
I know.
Instead of being like somebody in the background said it. Good job.
It's a new year. It's a new me. It's a new volume. It's a new God knows what else.
New life for me.
Oh, man. So before we get even more completely off track and in the weeds, because I can tell this is going to be a rambunctious one.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? What piece of content?
I think we should start with Craft Parenting Pod wrapping up the Beervent 2023.
All right, so Craft Parenting Podcast, episode 150, Higher Gravity's 2023 Beervent Calendar, Day 25, and calendar recap and final thoughts.
There's a lot going on there. I totally appreciate that they were able to put out a piece of content every day for the Beervent box, and
that's no easy task.
Oh, absolutely not.
Gnome didn't even do that.
No. This won't happen.
But
if they were able to put out the episode, talk about the beer, talk about the brewery, and then recap your parody or your thought, that would be amazing. However, the way they did this with timing,
was
it
smart.
worked
It was
very, very well.
Smart. Yes.
Very, very well. Yes. I mean, it's not a secret, everybody. They batch recorded these, right? They went ahead and they said, okay, we
put out a couple days.
They recorded a couple days, and then they were able to, get a little buffer and then go back, record a few days, and then do the thing. Mm-hmm. And there were some solo releases as far as the YouTube shows and all that.
The Craft Caroline podcast.
Salute to you, Craft Parenting Pod, for putting out a piece of content every single day of the Beervent calendar.
Absolutely amazing.
Great
Absolutely
job.
Amazing. So on this episode, the first about 15 minutes was a recap of every beer from day 1 to day 24. And just kind of re-saying, this is what we had. Do I remember if we liked it? Do I remember if we didn't like it?
Do you remember?
Who had more beer poured into their glass when they were trying to, share each can. The Day 10 mix-up beer, they blamed entirely on you, Marco. They said Marco was packing the boxes.
I probably did that.
On purpose? Did you know?
No, hell no, not on purpose.
So for people who aren't familiar.
I'm a rule follower, Julia.
For people who aren't familiar or who didn't know, because I really didn't see much or anything about this on social media, so I guess either people weren't aware or it wasn't a big deal. The Day 10 beer, because it was National Lager Day, was supposed to be 18th Street's Henry Street Pilsner. Fantastic beer. That's what was in my box. But when I posted my daily parody, Caroline commented on it. She went, "That's not the beer we got." They had a New England IPA, also from 18th Street Brewing. So the label was also blue. Apparently looked pretty similar, and apparently between Northside and Blue Ash, there were like a case or two of New England IPAs that got mixed into the Beervent boxes instead of the Pilsner.
Or their box was labeled.
Higher
Ludwig,
value.
and I decided to, give them a switcheroo.
Oh,
Maybe
that sounds
maybe or maybe
entirely
not.
Plausible.
Maybe or maybe. I mean, with 600 boxes hanging out over here, like
How
I
could Jason or Nick notice if you just like
because Jason has
popped one in?
spreadsheets.
Oh, this is true.
That's how it happened.
He did have spreadsheets. Yes. They talked about some of the Beervent exclusives, and this was earlier in the episode, so I have a note kind of clarifying on something that they seemed a little confused about, but then Caroline went back and kind of recorrected and did everything, so I'm just going to put this in now. They were...
All right, hold on. So Julia clarifies.
Yes, I wish I had a sound effect for that.
Julia clarified, Julia clarified, Julia
Oh,
clarified.
the keyboard is out. Keyboard's out, and we're 21 minutes in. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
that was
very
wonderful. They had gone to Westside Brewing and saw that they had some cans of the California Common, which was the higher gravity Beervent exclusive from Westside, in the cooler. And they said, well, we thought that this was supposed to be an exclusive release, but if it's in cans for all of the, I think they actually said the normal people who didn't buy a Beervent calendar to get, they're like, maybe this is wrong, maybe it wasn't an exclusive. So the Beervent exclusive beers from these breweries, and again, Caroline, got this right near the end of the episode. The breweries make these beers that they are only putting into cans for the Beervent boxes. But if they make more than what goes into those cans, or more cases than what higher gravity needs for Beervent, those extra kegs and cans are sold only in that brewery's tap room. So it's exclusive to the Beervent box and to that brewery's tap room. You can't get them in distribution. Kegs or cans aren't going to show up at, your local gas station shelves, anything like that.
Not going to get them at Youngo Yims.
Exactly. So they're still exclusive in that the only way you're going to see these or be able to get them is at the brewery, but that's only if they had some left, which Westside did, and cool. Hopefully more people saw it and went, this sounds like an interesting style, something I haven't tried before. Oh, you only did this for Beervent. I need to buy a Beervent calendar next year. So hopefully that pans out.
Boom.
About 15 minutes in, they revealed the day 25 beer, which because Joe did not pre-order, they did not get 2 beers. All they got, I say all they got, it was the Third Eye exclusive for the Beervent box, which was a spiced milk stout. Absolutely delicious. So they talked a bit about that. They talked a bit about Third Eye. We had another Caroline Reads section of the podcast, which we need a button for Caroline Reads or something like that, where she read Third Eye Brewing's about information from their website.
Great suggestion.
And Caroline refuses to bag her own groceries at Kroger when they got on a little bit of a tangent about some errands they needed to do.
Because she bougie like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's like, I don't work for them. I'm not going to bag my own stuff. To where me, I'm like, I don't want to interact with someone. Let me bag my own stuff.
Yeah.
How many of their previous wishes came true from their preview episode that they did, saying, what do we think's going to be in this box? What do we want to be in the box?
I think they're giving themselves 2 wins. Mm-hmm. And I think what they're doing is stretching the truth, which we love here at Truth, Beer, and Consequences.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, we're kind of all about that. I mean, we would never make up something about episodes of, say, the Craft Parenting Podcast, such as, Joe was so disappointed in the Third Eye Brewing beer that he actually poured the rest of his glass into Caroline's glass and then complained for the rest of the episode about how he didn't have any beer.
He didn't have any. He just looked at it and, I wish I had some beer.
This is really...
Glad you have more.
This is really spice, and I don't know that I like this really spice beer. So, but we would never say anything like that wasn't a truth about their podcast. Could they pick, I don't have a multiple choice question, but general question, could they pick a favorite beer from the Beervent calendar? You guys are going to have to listen to find out, because it was a really fun recap of the entire season. Very glad that they did that. Joe will apparently be sleeping on the couch until the next Beervent if he doesn't pre-order, which means he is sleeping on the couch as it stands right now. Because pre-orders are going on, and I can guarantee you he is not doing that.
And what Julia means by as it stands right now is Joe's a vampire, and his couch actually stands upward, and he sleeps in it like a coffin.
I mean, prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I've never
stop
seen Joe
us when I
sleep.
lie.
Exactly. So they gave a couple teasers about things to expect from the Craft Parenting Pod in 2020. I almost said 2025. Good Lord, I am not ready for that yet.
Have they announced
not ready for that yet? No, but for 2024,
can we announce something for 2025?
Yes, in 2025, we will have a guaranteed one piece of video content out every single month.
Ooh, wow.
Now we have a year to forget about this.
Shocking revelation.
Hey, you know what? I don't see why not.
I don't see why not either.
But a Craft Parenting Pod, they have some collaboration episodes that are coming up early 2024.
Okay.
Cannot wait to see what they have in store. And you still have to be on an episode of theirs because you won the contest that said the Where Are We contest.
Yeah.
So
Where
I
in
cannot
the world
wait.
are Caroline and Joe?
Caroline and Joette. You got to figure out the syllables.
Can you do?
That's the trick.
Can you do the what was the name of the
beatboxing?
group?
Oh shoot! What was the name of the Carmen Sandiego group? I don't know. I know they had a name.
Yeah, they had a name.
All right. Did you have anything else on this episode of the Craft Parenting Pod?
No.
Oh God, not him again. I thought we were free for at least 1 week.
Well, I think he was on. I think global warming. His ski trip was canceled.
All right. That's fine. That's fair. Well, you are just about in need of a refill.
Yeah.
So should we take a quick break before we get into? Again, I don't know if this episode is technically Blake the Brewery Explorer or if it's the Brewery Explorers, but we will get into that and all things Gnome when we get back. So stick around with us.
Okay.
Well, we made it back.
Why does everybody look at me when you do that?
We thought you were going to be on cue,
No, I
sir.
missed it again.
No.
I'm not going to be
Okay.
late.
All right, next time you will get it. All right, we have a Blake piece of content, a Blake and Noah piece of content, and we have 2 pieces of Gnome content. Actually, before we even get started with that, who the hell are you and what are you drinking? As if people don't know by now, but
I'm the Gnarly Gnome.
awesome.
I'm drinking beer.
Awesome.
I should make note every time I do this, and I never do. Number 20, it's some kind of wine barrel-aged Saison something or other. Can you read that, Marco? You've got good eyes. You eat a lot of carrots.
7 Blanc aged.
It's a myth, by the way, carrots in your eyesight.
Yeah, the lutein, or I don't know. It's a vitamin or something that starts with an L. That's what
It's
it's being carried.
Saison
It's a
from
myth.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but isn't it called like lutein? The
Six Sense, is that what you said?
Valley, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
part of the foam on your glass looks like a headless giraffe.
It's a llama.
Oh yeah,
llama?
You are correct. Or is it a alpaca?
Definitely a llama.
Definitely a llama. Why? Because it spits.
Alpacas are fuzzier,
Good point.
I think.
Okay.
I might have
Sure,
just
we'll
made
go
that
with
up,
that.
too.
We'll go with that.
Alpacas are fuzzier, and carrots help your eyesight.
It's our truth.
Yeah.
Are
Yes.
you the guy that
Come to us
knows
for medical advice.
between the caiman, the crocodile, and the alligator? Do you know the difference when you see the 3?
And which is
I
the-
do, actually.
What about is it Dromaeus camel and the Bactrian camel?
Yeah, you lost me there.
Okay. The
I didn't know there was more than one camel.
One's the regular and one's the menthol.
There's a light one, too, right?
If you
Yeah.
so the and I'm gonna get these names completely wrong, so feel free to yell at me on social media, like Bactrian or something like that, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you put the B on its side, it has 2 humps, where the other one that starts with the D
Sally
only
the
has
camel.
1.
She has 1 hump.
Okay, so she's
Sally the
the
camel has 2 humps.
Dromaeus camel. Okay, there you go.
She's different. Every
it's-
verse, it doesn't make sense.
My hump, my hump, my hump.
Oh, you're right. I do know that song now that you said that.
They're
Sally the
lovely
camel
lady
has
lumps.
2 humps.
That's a different song,
Camel
Marco.
has
Oh,
2
sorry.
humps.
Sally the camel has laid lumps. No, that's not it.
You're welcome, Elijah. Oh man.
But crocodiles, alligators are more rounded. Crocodiles are more pointy. Caimans are real skinny.
Yeah.
Nose
Yeah.
Boom.
wise.
There you go.
Snout? Or is it a
Snout.
snout?
I think it's a
Let's
snout,
go.
yeah.
Let's run
Alligator
with it.
snout?
Wildlife Corner with Truth Beer Pod.
However,
I
could
like
I identify one in person? I don't think so, because I would be too terrified.
You'd be running away. Yeah.
Yeah, they freak me out.
No, don't run.
I have to
Well,
run.
kind of like when people say.
What do you do? You play dead?
Like how
Not with an
snakes-
You just
alligator.
raise your hands and go, "Hey, bear!"
Well, it's kind of like they say if you see a snake, if its head's like more triangular,
Yep.
it's poisonous or venomous.
I'm shrieking no matter what.
It's, Right, and if it's, like a more rounded,
No, what
it's
I'm
not.
going
I'm
to
like,
do is
I'm not going to be taking
actually,
that long to
I'm going to go
walk.
the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of snakes or alligators, crocodiles, caimans.
Spiders.
No, I'm not afraid of any of them. And spiders, I'm fine with no matter
Yeah,
what. But
yeah.
snakes,
IRS?
if they surprise me, nope, I'm good with the IRS.
Okay.
Snakes, if they surprise me, like if I'm hiking and I come across one, like I'm about to step
Like
on
if they're
it,
in a clown outfit.
I'm terrified.
Well, no, like,
Like
there's a
like
stick.
you
and now the
remember,
stick's
like in
moving.
2020, where like
Yeah,
there were just
the
clowns everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
hiding
If
the
there
way
was
to
a
kill you,
snake
yeah.
dressed as a clown,
That's different because the clowns had like hammers and like
Yes.
knives and things,
Yes.
and chased people. That was different.
Yeah.
Uh,
If any animal is chasing me, I'm not a big fan of it. But even if like the snake's just chilling, just getting a suntan, I don't like them if they surprise me. But if I know they're there, I don't really care.
Yeah.
yeah.
I might be a
Bears.
little- I might be a
Bears
little
on the other
startled
hand,
first.
I don't like bears no matter what.
If bears are not friends, why are their ears friend shaped?
I don't know.
I mean, what do you say we talk about Blake the Brewery Explorer, where he and Noah talked to Mary MacDonald from the Ohio Craft Brewers Association?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Marco and I already confirmed that we watched it. Did you take a peek at this one?
I listened.
Okay.
Like I think the second that it dropped.
Nice, fantastic. I watched this one on YouTube, so you have two ways to absorb this content, or do both: watch it, listen to it.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Try to time it right.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you watch it with the sound up, you're listening.
You're not wrong.
I was thinking you should turn it on like on your TV or computer or whatever, and then hold your phone over here and like at the same time hit play on
Ooh,
both.
it's just like in stereo.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Noah, so I have to playfully tease Noah for this one. Did you notice what he called Taft's beer that he was drinking?
No.
So he was drinking Santa's
Santa baby.
close. He was drinking Santa's bribe, but instead he called it. He said, "I'm drinking Santa's Bible."
I
like-
missed that completely.
Like, oh, I actually went back.
Ah,
Like,
like
did I
it.
mishear that? I'm like, no.
Santa does not have a Bible. Him and
no,
Jesus are
no, very.
not happy with each
However,
They're not
if,
friends.
if you have not watched A Violent Night, I'm gonna.
I haven't.
Oh, I still need to.
I'm gonna
Recommend
if, I'm gonna recommend it if you like action movies, because
other.
action
Is Santa
the
like an action hero?
The action genre requires a lot of sort of suspension of belief. So does Santa in certain ways.
Why?
Like no, in certain ways. Not the fact
Well,
that
this-
he's real, because he is, but. Some of the actual accomplishments are.
What, you think he couldn't eat that many cookies?
I
Bunch of
just
crap.
saying,
Yes, he can.
but
got
I
Belly
think
that shakes like a bowl full of jelly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is Santa Claus in public domain? I guess we can put him in whatever movies we want and have him kill people.
I've never heard that he's not in public domain.
That's cool.
So Mary has a husky, which
Little
immediately
lamb.
makes her my favorite person in the whole wide world.
Huskies.
Purely based on dog stats. She seems like a really phenomenal person, and I am thrilled that Blake and Noah got her on their show.
Very excited.
She's never been on my show.
Another just sort of reaching for the stars guest, and
Oh my
they
God,
got
yeah.
him.
Absolutely.
So congratulations, salute to you,
Absolutely.
the Brewery Explorer podcast.
Mary gave some history of the Ohio Craft Brewers Association, kind of how she came into their fold in 2013, and how things have been going from there. What the Ohio Craft Brewers Association does, this is very loose just from the conversation they had in the episode. They lobby for brewery and brewing rights, and they do promotion, they promote collaboration, and they try to make sure that these small breweries survive.
I learned
basically.
that I didn't know that it had kind of spawned off of a previous like Northern Ohio thing.
Yeah, it used to be a bigger...
NAMBLA or whatever it was called.
No,
I don't remember what the.
Oh my God, no! Oh my God, no!
Something like that.
No, definitly not that. No.
I think that's what she said.
No. Oh my God, I'll have to re-listen because I hope to God. No.
National Amazing Brew Lovers Association,
Yes.
something like that.
Oh man! So
But I didn't know that it spawned off of another association like that.
There are roughly 433 craft breweries in Ohio, and about 79% of them are part of the Ohio Craft Brewers Association. And when asked, like, why isn't everyone part of this? She's just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, ask them.
Maybe that's something better to do.
If they're not a part, you got to ask them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they have their own reasons.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Sure, it's usually money related and...
Could be, yeah. Yeah. Or they're already part of some other group that gives them whatever they feel they need.
She did say that some breweries were attached to wineries and they have representation, albeit that representation isn't for both sides.
It's
because you can ship wine across the United States. You can't legally ship beer.
Right.
I wonder what that breakdown is of breweries that are attached to wineries that aren't members of the Brewers Association versus breweries that are also wineries technically on paper that are.
I would bet most of them aren't.
And but how many exist in Ohio?
5?
She's clearly like thinking of something in her head. There's some kind of story here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Cellar Dweller Valley Vineyards?
No.
No, not in the. Okay. And
to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
Okay. And I mean, again, it could just be
I don't have the passport. You could look it up.
I think that was I think they were and then weren't, and it's an oversight to this point. But
okay.
I am not trying to speak for.
No. It was more of
Valley
it was more of a general question into the air because that's the first when you say a brewery attached to a winery. That is the first thing, being someone from Cincinnati, that I think of.
Fibonacci is also a brewery attached to a winery.
Oh, you're right.
Mm-hmm. There's a fence in the basement.
Oh, you're right.
That's the winery.
I completely forgot about that. I guess because
I think the fence is still there. They might have taken it down.
Like the name, like you have Valley Vineyards and Cellar Dweller. Like the name is literally right there where Fibonacci is. Fibonacci Brew. Is it Fibonacci Brewing Company?
It's Fib.
I think something just
Fib.
Just the Fib. So I always kind of forget that little extra part is there.
They also are members, though.
They are.
Correct.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, they absolutely are. The Ohio Craft Brewers Association is behind the Ohio on Tap app, which I don't have many. I just like Untapped and stuff. I just don't think to check things in or to check myself into a place until I'm already home and like, oh yeah, I didn't do that thing. So it's just not something that's part of my normal routine.
I used it like right at the very beginning when it came out, and then I took a trip one day where I went to a couple breweries. And I got in trouble after like the third one. It said, you're doing this too fast. And I said, well, I'm drinking at each brewery. Why can't I check them in? And so then I gave up and never went back to it.
Yeah. I mean, at least with Untapped, like say you go out and you have however many beers in a night, you start checking them in. Like when you get home,
it will yell at you at some point.
But it'll still let you like, hey,
slow down, dude.
Are you okay?
I've never known anyone that has had that problem, no.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like I get that the idea behind it is to stop people from cheating the system and like, you're checking into these different. There's no way you're going to these places. I was going to the places and I was drinking a beer.
Yeah. Because
why can't I check it in?
Does it still use GPS? Because I know it wants you to submit like a picture of yourself.
Yeah, you can submit a picture, but I was using GPS.
Eventually what happens is somebody in Newport actually takes you aside and takes you to incarceration.
They checked me in.
They checked you in.
That was the ultimate.
Hey, check me in.
Apparently, the A1C license wasn't created. Why do I have was created in 2023? That is
a
incorrect.
Complete falsehood. What did I mean to write for that one? I don't know I don't know the year that I meant.
Yeah, 2012.
12 or 13. Maybe I meant to have 13, and I just fat fingered 2023 because
I guess it was probably like.
Because that was shortly after she came into
talked about in 2012 and then went into effect in 2013.
Yeah,
probably.
Right, because Mary said that she was very close to when all of that was happening, and she came into the Ohio CBA in 2013.
Yeah,
so I must have meant to write 2013.
Quite contrary, and that's how all these things.
How does her garden grow?
Actually,
silver bells and cockle shells. What is a cockle shell? Is that right?
Oh my God, where was I?
Cockleshells. We were at Cockleshells.
And I did this to myself, so that is it. We were talking about the A1C license, and we will say that it was created in 2013. That sounds right. I just, for whatever reason,
it was created in 2012, went into effect in 2013.
2013? Okay, there we go.
Notes are right.
There we go. It lowered the cost, allowed self-distribution. You can brew on-prem, have brew pubs, all kinds of good stuff that you could not have prior. The ABV laws in Ohio, Mary was part of some of the change for that. And the only reason they changed the law from being a limit of 12% to just no limits, they said, we just don't want you coming back here every 5 years and asking for this again. We're tired of you, so fine, have your no ABV limit law. And
sure.
And now we can buy utopias here.
Listen to the pod to see if anything actually, or any brewery actually sparked the legislature to have common sense on this situation. But yeah, listen.
Well, I mean, they are currently working on a law that would require at least 20% of beers on any given tap list to be lactose free specifically for you.
Yeah.
The Marco law.
Yeah.
I'm just for the people. That's it.
You are, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
They talked a bit about distribution laws and how it's almost impossible to get out of a contract, and the Ohio CBA is working to try to make that a little more friendly to smaller breweries, to where if it makes sense for them to exit a contract, let them just exit that contract. Don't force them into something that maybe worked on day one, but isn't working now that they're entering year 3, year 5. And
it's a really big conversation.
It is.
It's an important conversation. I'm glad we're having it.
Sure.
The other thing is that I would say is that she made it clear that anybody who has a contract, they can't change that. But anybody coming up, you know that you can, if or and when this takes effect, they can do that. However, legally, we have precedence setting once that happens. So the other breweries can at least approach with a precedence setting sort of milestones that may work in their favor.
It's not that you can't change it, and it's not that you can't get out of a contract, which I think is I support the bill to kind of loosen up some of the laws around these contracts, but it's not that they can't get out of it and they can't change it, because we even here locally we've seen people do just that on both accounts.
But it's up to the distributor, from what I understand, and I could be wrong on this, to say
it's completely up to
you're
the
right,
distributor.
let's go ahead and rework this partnership.
And in a lot of ways, if you're wanting out, they have to buy, or someone has to buy them out of that contract, which then takes into account of what the brand is worth today versus when they signed into the contract. Which a lot of breweries are going to struggle trying to come up with some money to buy themselves out of a contract. But
when the law changes, what it does is actually creates free market, free agency, which is way better for the market, because what it does is it makes the distributor have to hold to their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
And to this point, they have been able to just basically
they could just take your brand and just decide they don't really care about it anymore.
Correct. They could just take it and just ignore it, and it didn't matter because they owned it. And I mean, whatever. What are you going to do? But now it forces them to have the actual proof of burden in their actual execution, and that is actually far more extremely important. They have to make good on the actual contract that they have.
I mean, listen to the Brew Skies episodes where they interviewed Jim Cook for kind of a slight historical sliver of some distributors, and when a smaller brewery was doing well and they were being distributed by someone that was also distributing these major national brands. I mean, that's a perfect example right there. And it didn't seem like things, I don't want to say that they haven't changed that much, just because that was a very extreme very singular brand focused story. But it was still, the distributor could have decided, the Sam Adams stuff, we're just not going to put any focus on it for whatever reason, and that beer may have never sold.
If you're a brewery that's selling a light lager and you are carried by a distributor that also carries Bud Light, your light lager will never replace Bud Light at any of their locations that they have. Just won't happen because they're still beholden to Bud Light.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
They don't
gives them more
they
money,
don't care about your brand.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Up to a certain point.
Agreed. This was a really, really cool episode to listen to. I am so glad that they're expanding outside of just talking to brewers and people directly tied into the brewery scene, and they're looking at the craft beer community and other organizations as a whole. They're doing amazing stuff. Keep an eye on the Brewery Explorers podcast as they continue to evolve and grow in 2024. And yeah, hopefully we'll all get a chance to meet and hang out at some point.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool. Any other notes on this episode before we move on?
Other than Cockleshells?
Other than Cockleshells?
No. Nope, that's all I got.
All right. Do you guys want to talk about the Gnarly Gnomes YouTube video on Barleywine or the Weekly Pint first?
Let's go Barleywine.
Barleywine? All right.
Came out before the Weekly
This
Pint.
is true. This is true. I came out on YouTube on December the 30th of 2023, and this was Westside Brewing's Barleywine, both their 2021 and 2024 versions. Varieties, versions. Is it so?
Vintages.
Vintages. There we go.
Vintages.
And that's the
Which
word that I
doesn't
was
really
trying
make
to
sense when it
find.
comes to beer, but that's
Yeah.
what it is.
And why are things called like? And this is just me, like legit, maybe not understanding the word properly. The 2023 vintage
It's
or
a wine
2024
term.
vintage.
It's-
So is it? So it's more because of that. Okay. And why are? And this is again me not doing research before this. Why are some beers called wine, such as barley wine? There's some that are wheat wine. This could be a whole other part of the episode, so I'm just going to throw that into
I
the ether,
love
and I
that
don't
question.
know if
So
there is.
I wanted to
quick
get
and
into that
easy
a little
way.
bit in the video, but I didn't want to get too wordy and too nerdy with it.
Okay. Is there a Cliff Notes version? That
Yeah, I mean, so like wine has always been a little more prestigious than beer, and especially when it comes to around a dinner table or things like that, wine had a very certain place with a meal.
makes sense? Okay.
And when breweries started kind of trying to rebrand almost old ale and trying to kick it into a different spot, they wanted it to compete with wine for the share of palate, I guess.
Okay.
They knew that it could kind of fill some of those same things that wine was, so they used the term wine to try to do that. It was barley wine instead of grape wine.
Because I knew that first
barley
came up.
wine instead of grape
Grape.
wine. I like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's fine.
For me, like it almost fills the gap that like maybe like a port wine would, but like more of like brandy or like bourbon or things like things that I want to just sit and like sip at.
sip
It's
at
not
and
still
nod.
isn't like wine to me.
Gotcha.
But maybe I'm drinking wine wrong. Maybe you shouldn't be crushing it like I am.
There's really no wrong way to drink, is there?
Butt chugging,
Yeah,
that's wrong.
that's wrong.
Don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. The first time I questioned a beer that had wine as part of the name was Humble Monk's Barrel Aged Wheat Wine.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, it's a beer. And I'm like, but it's called a wine. I'm very confused. And I've just never dug into why.
It was so they should, and I think that still applies. They should, in order to pass through the TTB, should still be called barley wine, two separate words, or no,
Well, because West Side's, I think it's all together.
one word.
But I've seen it as
And
two.
it should still say barley wine style ale. I think is what the
Gotcha.
TTB wants it to say.
Gotcha. Okay.
That
All about the damn TTB and just kind of phrasing.
that was thanks to Anchor. Anchor was the
Okay.
first ones to do an American barley wine, and they did barley wine, and the TTB said, no, you can't do that.
Can't really do that because it's not a wine. And
barley wine.
That makes
style
sense.
ale. It was always barley wine, 2 words.
Okay.
Until it came here. Now it's barley wine.
Nice. Have you had many English barley wines?
I've had a few, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if you prefer one to the other?
I definitely, well, it depends.
I mean, I guess it's kind of different. Right. That's...
If it's fresh and super hoppy, I'm not a huge fan of American ones, but if they're aged or if they're not as hoppy as you expect them to be, they're fine.
Nice.
Still don't know technically what West Side would say theirs is. Here's my barley wine notes.
Okay.
1903 was when the name was first penned.
All right. And that was in Europe.
Yes, that was England.
Okay. All right. All right. So Westside packaged their barley wine in an interesting way this year, I feel like. Instead of it just being a 4-pack of that year's release, they are only doing 4-packs where 2 cans are 2021 and 2 cans are the 2024.
I think it's the right way to do it.
I like it.
I think it's brilliant.
I
love it.
absolutely love it. Right.
I love it. I can't believe that they dedicated a warehouse and storage space to be able to set aside a portion of 2021 just to release later. That's great.
Was it that, or did they just not make as much 2024? And they're like, how do we fill these 4-packs? But you're right. They still had to have the older stuff to be able to fill those 4-packs in with.
I don't know.
Either way, brilliant. I absolutely
I love it packaged together. That's the...
Yeah. Maybe next year they'll just be individual cans of 4 different years. That could be cool.
I've seen 4-packs of 4 different years
Really?
that they've done before.
But the date aged, I think those are in 16-ounce cans instead of 12-ounce, which...
The what?
The date aged barley wine.
Oh, yeah.
Do
they still have that?
They sell some of that in the tap room, yeah. Yeah, I saw it this weekend.
I don't need my barley wine with other things in it.
Extra fruits.
I mean, I'm fine
or not
with it,
fruits, but yeah, I feel like it's sweet enough that adding that extra layer of a super sugary fruit in addition, it was good. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't want a whole 16-ounce can of it. That's another one that would be perfect in an 8-ounce can.
Yeah.
Yeah, smaller formats for some of those bigger,
advocates.
heavier, sweeter beers.
Big advocates of that.
Kind of going back into this episode, as you said, the barley wine name was more of a marketing scheme than an actual potential brewing technique or anything that separated that. American barley wines are hoppier than their English counterparts.
Usually. I guess even that's kind of shifting now. People are making American English barley wines. I mean, that's the fun thing about craft beer.
Yeah. It's just going to be barley wine with no real good distinction. Kind of like the way IPAs are like, here's a West Coast that you cannot see through, and that is fruity as hell. But different topic for a different day. Apparently the best barley wine adjunct is dust.
Yes.
Yeah.
It fits in any year, any no matter how long you have aged your barley wine or how new it is. Put a little dust in your glass, and that just adds a little bit perfect. DIPA's evolved from barley wines, potentially.
I think so. I think there's a whole topic there, too.
Yeah, I think.
Yes. I feel like a lot of this video like gave almost, I don't say teasers, but are like, this could be splintered off into a whole other spider web of content, and this could do the same over here and here and here. So older barley wine tastes like cardboard, and that's okay.
Love me some good cardboard.
It is one of the few beers that you should cellar.
I think so.
Okay.
It's my opinion.
But it's perfectly fine to drink fresh. And the big question of this episode, was fresh the best? Because when you open up both cans, you're like, I think I know which one I'm going to like
Two different
more.
Experiences, which, by the way,
that's
Westside, good on you. Salute to you for giving your, patrons this opportunity. I don't know if everyone's going to get the idea or the concept, but everyone should. This is an awesome opportunity for a total geeky comparison, whether it's a super geek or just, hey, this is this vintage and this year and this year.
Right.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Now, we are contractually obligated to talk about Westside at least once per episode. Of course.
Yes.
This is an excellent reason to talk about Westside. That is fantastic. Nobody else is doing that locally, and good on you. I love it. I want to get my hands on it now. I mean, let's be honest.
Are you going to
I'm not going there. I'm not going there to get it. Like, if I get it, or if somehow through association I get it, I'm very happy to have it.
If only you knew someone who lived on the west side.
Well,
I'm telling you.
I mean, I would love to have it. I would love to have it. So if anyone that
he is trying to speak it into
I
existence.
may have an extra can of each. I could send your way.
that'd be great. I'd love to have it. And I have recently, in the past month, had Barleywine and loved it, and I'm craving another round. So I would love to have it. But good on you, Westside. I love this. I love that out of your brewery. This is another great sort of thing that you're putting out there. Yeah. Don't put. I don't want to put wrong adjectives. It's not an innovation. It's not a. It's just. It's a good way of presenting it in a new.
They're releasing it in a way that other breweries aren't. There are a lot of local breweries that are putting out barley wine.
But it's one of those things, like, it doesn't make financial sense to save barley wine and to package it with current year.
Right.
And none of it makes sense.
Making a barley wine.
That's part of why I love it.
I feel like it makes sense to the drinker. Like, well, yeah, why wouldn't you do this? But for a business, right. It does not
business is number one. It doesn't make sense to make barley wine.
It doesn't make sense to make craft beer for a business.
Number two, it doesn't make sense to sit on any of it. And number three, packaging it with older variants also doesn't make sense, because all of this is hand packaged.
Yes.
So none of it makes sense. However,
so good on you, Wes.
It's terribly, like, fantastically, just fantastic. Great job.
So good on Westside for making this and packaging it the way that they did, and good on you, Gnome, for
drinking it
and just putting out something about a style of beer that I think a lot of people will see on a tap list and go, I don't like wine, or that doesn't sound like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there is a preconceived notion of what it might be.
Well,
I'm glad you're trying to, like, chip away at it.
I didn't get a chance to really emphasize it in the video, but one thing that I'll do with stuff like that, if I see a style like that I'm not really familiar with, like as in depth as other ones, or even some that I am, like, very in depth, like I make this habit of, like, taking time to go grab one or two or six of them off of a shelf or out of a tap room or tap rooms, and sit at home and sit there and drink them and try them, read about them. Like, even if you're just pulling up the computer and Googling around while you're reading, while you're drinking these beers, just to kind of dive in deeper to these styles, to kind of learn more about what they are and why they are. And to me, that's part of the fun of drinking beer.
Absolutely.
Part of why now, as of recent, you're a big Belgian guy.
That is a big part of it. Yeah.
That's definitely one style of beer that, as a beer drinker, you've come to understand. I don't want to say necessarily you have a place in your heart, but you understand it.
Appreciate and understand what it is, and enjoy it from time to time.
Sure.
It still isn't going to beat a good, clean German lager for me, but whatever.
Hell no.
Sure, but but kind of like when it starts getting cold outside and you want those stouts or peppermint schnapps. Yeah. Barley wines absolutely have a place, have a season, have a time that it's like, this is going to be really good tonight. This is going to hit the spot.
And the good thing for drinkers is you can, if you see one that is released, grab it, throw it in your beer cellar. If you don't have a beer cellar, make a little beer cellar in the corner of a closet in your basement or whatever. And then when that occasion comes, it's probably going to be better than it was when you bought it.
Nice. Any other notes on this before the sip count that I did for this episode?
Sip count. No, let's go.
All right. So I have a total of 3 sip counts. I did how many sips of the 2024, how many sips of the 2021, and then just totaled them up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Julia, Just
Did I sip
doing the work.
Here's the big question. Here's my question before we hit the numbers. Did I sip more of the old one or the new one?
Want to take a
You
guess?
have a guess, Marco?
I'm going to say the new one.
That's actually probably, that's my guess too.
All right. I watched through this episode twice to make sure I had my counts correct.
You did.
So you're welcome
You
for
gave
the
him
extra
2
click.
clicks?
I did.
Wow.
I don't think it works that way.
No, probably not. Even if I switch accounts, since I think they're still all tied
knows-
to.
it knows where you live.
It knows. Damn it. The 2024 variant, you took 3 sips in the
Okay.
video.
Okay.
There was a lot more sniffing. If I did a sniff count, that probably would have
Ooh,
upped
that's
the
a good
numbers.
count.
Because there were a lot more sniffs than sips. Because you would start talking, then you would like go back to sniff, and then back to talking. So there wasn't as much sippery.
As you all know, most of what you're tasting in beer comes from your nose.
True that. 2021, 3. You had equal
Wow.
sips. Yes. So in this episode, what does age do to a barley wine? There were a grand total of 6 sips or 12 ounces, about 3/4 of a pint.
That's
yeah.
valid.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. That's what you do, kind of.
Yeah.
It's about
With
what you
those.
need to
Yeah.
taste a beer.
Do we want to move on to talking about some fish logs with the weekly pint?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. Fish logs.
There might be another Fish Logs video coming too in the near future.
I'm excited. This is the weekly pint from January 1st, 2024. Happy New Year's. The title of this was My Resolution is to Drink with You. And according to the sip count, did that happen?
I hope so.
Well, I mean, there was at least a couple of sips with us.
Yeah,
I mean, I finished the can, so I had to drink something.
that's true. But
I didn't
during
finish
the
it on the
episode,
show. No,
right? That's
finished it out.
right. That's always the trick. How much do you actually get to drink during the weekly pint?
Not much.
Not much at all, is what.
Trying to lead a
Louisa, yeah.
solo show with us.
Yep.
Goons
With us yahoos in the background,
background.
just saying all kinds of stuff. The episode started with chaos, as it should. I mean, if there's
Chaos
not some
started
chaos
with
in the
the
weekly
fact
pint.
that you were like 20 minutes late at
No,
least.
I was thinking he teased the graphic that he didn't mean to tease in the very beginning of the episode, but also the 20 minutes thing. But neither here nor there. Just either later on
It's okay.
top, basically.
It's appointment watching.
I thought we were gonna nail it. So we came back home. So we were at my in-laws' house for New Year's. Came back home on the
Camping.
1st. Not camping. Although it would have been a great weekend for it.
It would have.
We came home. Got home probably about 6 p.m. I'm like, this is gonna be perfect. I'll have plenty of time to prep for the show and get everything set up and just hit go when 9:30 hits.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, the youngest fell asleep in the car, which is fine.
Yeah.
But that means now he's sleeping at 6 p.m., which means he's
gonna be
waking up
awake.
at 9:30 p.m. So right when we're getting ready to go, all hell breaks loose in the house. And yeah, it was chaotic.
Yeah. There were a ton of people in the chat that were very excited to see you drinking fish logs. I know that I was one of them. Is that in the...
Were they excited for me to be drinking a cider from Fruit Blood, or was everybody just excited about the word fish logs?
Fish logs. Yeah,
what I think.
it's got to be fish logs.
I was excited for the fact that you liked it.
However, if you buy fish logs in the Urban Artifact tap room, they have to ring it up separate because it's a Fruit Blood product.
Blood.
Right.
So
You have to have 2 tabs, basically.
well, I went in and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have a couple drinks. Got a couple drinks. Closed out my tab, and then thought, oh crap, I need to buy
Fish logs,
I need to buy some fish logs. So I had to ring up some fish logs, and then right as I was ordering my fish logs, producer Adam from Brew Skies came in. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta have a beer with Adam. I need to open up another tab. I ended up with 3 tabs somehow
Oh my
at Urban
God.
Artifact.
That's amazing. You tried to describe the separation, or maybe lack thereof, between Urban Artifact and Fruit Blood.
There's
How they're
definitely
separate.
a separation.
Right, but there are
it's
still
blurry.
some... Exactly.
Josh Elliott, who is the head fish logger at
Great guy.
Fruit Blood,
Fish logger.
he could,
I don't know about that.
As he's making his fish logs, he could throw an apple and hit an Urban Artifact employee.
He's probably done so once or twice.
I'm sure.
Well, he's like, well, they're brewing bushel over there. I'm just going to try to toss
Ping.
one of these.
Just hit him-
Exactly.
hit him.
Exactly.
Like when you hit
Very nice.
A little doink.
Very nice. We had our first official The Best Things I Drank segment and the graphic, which, again, the graphic was
a
musical
peep
earlier, but
in the next couple weeks.
Absolutely fantastic. I have something written here on the side, and I don't remember what that was. So you were talking about reading books on loggers.
Oh, yes.
Are you an ebook person or a real book person?
Both. This book is a real book.
Okay.
Ebooks are real books too.
Thank you.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
There's
just something about holding like an actual.
My problem is
book,
the note taking. So and I know that this is going to be a heated discussion between other readers within the audience here, but. I write in my margins a lot. Like I'm scribbling all over my books. I'm highlighting stuff. I'm circling things.
Do you dog ear your pages?
Yes, I do
Good.
everything. I beat the shit out of my books.
Your books have life. Yeah, absolutely.
You can't do that in an ebook in the same way. I can't get as good of notes in my ebooks.
That's fair.
So I don't
that
love
makes
them.
Sense.
However, there are some books that I love just for a reference standpoint to always have on me.
Yeah, no, I don't fault either way. My preference is like the actual book, but ebooks absolutely have a place. So I do not fault anyone for that. Just one of those, as you were saying, I'm reading all these books and I have books over here and books over here. The question was, I wonder if there's a preferred
definitely
reading.
real books.
So books on books on books. I love that. That's great. What I would say is to just put just pin the tail on the donkey. Just
I don't have any donkeys.
Do you have any cockleshells?
Maybe. Okay. I just learned what they were tonight.
I struggle.
It's big when Marco rolls his eyes. Come on, guys.
I struggle at actually finishing any book, even that I'm interested in, from like a hard copy or even a soft book perspective. Ebook or I'm sorry, audiobook. I can I get into and I'll finish it, and I have read from an audiobook some great books, and they have been fantastic.
Audiobooks, I still can't.
I've never finished an audiobook.
Like I love podcasts, but for some reason, audiobooks, it's something different. And plus, when I see they're like, this audiobook is 6 hours long. Now, I might spend 20 hours if I just read it, but I'm like, I see them, I go,
honestly, I wish I could send you a couple of them, and maybe I'll just send you. Just
send me the name and I'll buy the book and I'll read it.
There we go. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'll just do that.
I'll add it to my stack, which I should count at the start of the year just to see how many books I have to be read that are sitting in my office.
Cincy Brewcast, you gave a couple bits of like news updates, things to come. Multiple episodes are scheduled. Looking forward to seeing and hearing those when they come out. I do like to check out both the podcast and if there's also a video, do both and just kind of see what do I pick up on in one that I might not have picked up on just listening or viewing or whatever in one format.
So Cincy Brewcast will always probably it's audio first, so it always will be. The video will exist for people that like to consume the content that way. However, Drinking with the Gnome, as you'll start to see this year, it will be there will be different content, video versus audio. It'll vary a little bit.
Okay, so Drinking with the Gnome's going to be more.
Be both.
You might get some episodes that are video only that don't make the podcatcher. Okay,
each episode will exist in both mediums and be slightly different in both mediums.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, that sounds awesome. And then more vlogs, more of just
hopefully
the life of the gnome, which I always find fantastic.
You'll see a lot more stuff that is more like this Barleywine episode, where it's just me behind the bar drinking something, talking about that thing. That'll be the majority of the videos that come out this year, but
fantastic.
There'll be more vlogs.
Cannot wait. You started a Facebook group for beer content creators. Anything from creating podcasts to posting pictures of beer on Instagram. Anything that is content out there that is based around craft beer. I think it's phenomenal. It's already...
We want to keep building this community.
It's already very engaging, and
awesome,
I just hope it stays
awesome
that way.
Idea.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gnome.
Of course.
Absolutely fantastic. So look that up if you are any kind of content creator. Again, even if you think I don't do anything other than post pictures of my beer, that's content.
Fine, yep.
You're putting something out there.
And invite your other content creating beer fans that you know.
Yes, let's grow the community. First merch drop of 2024 is coming soon. Ish.
Yes.
I'm going to throw that ish in there because,
it'll be this
as we
month.
know, chaos. Awesome. Kind of all that we had or all the notes that I had. Marco, did you have anything else? Or was there anything that you wanted to talk about last night that
I don't think
you didn't
so.
get to?
I should start making that note. Here's the things I should have talked about that I didn't.
No.
Yeah. I mean, if there were show notes for the weekly
Was that
Pint, you could just
Leon?
refer.
That was Leon.
It was Leon.
Leon, get out of here. No.
All right, the sip count for the Fish Logs episode of the Weekly Pint.
Yeah.
Marco, any guesses?
4.
That's
Okay.
where I was
No?
leaning in my head. I'll go optimistic and say 5.
And again, this is another one that I watched live and was counting live. And then I rewatched
We
on
all were there.
on YouTube today. So
We-
you got 2 views out of me because 2 different platforms. I don't
We
think
were
that's
present.
there. We were. 1. You took
What?
1. I watched.
What? What?
You took
That's great.
1 drink, 1 decent-sized drink of Fish Logs.
Oh,
But you know what? I bet that 1 sip tasted damn
it
good.
was great. That's funny.
I love it. I always feel so bad that you don't actually get to drink on your show without
It's hard.
drinking with them. But I get
something
it.
that nobody that doesn't do a podcast will ever
Like,
appreciate.
I mean, I'm a slow drinker anyway, but it is hard for me to get through even
yeah, but at
a
least,
glass of something here.
At least,
but-
like
but at
anytime
least
somebody's
there's market-
talking,
right.
you can drink. Man,
Exactly.
it's tough.
Just try to work on getting the drunk line back up, and that
Yeah.
way Marco can call in
Oh, I
and give you
would've.
like a
Yeah.
20-minute
No,
dissertation on something.
what you
Yeah.
don't know
You could do
Yeah.
a spreadsheet of like episodes where somebody calls in on the drunk line,
And it's marked.
how many sips I get on those episodes versus
Yes.
ones where somebody doesn't.
Absolutely.
It is
But-
vastly different.
Absolutely.
But what you missed is my mom was in town watching
That's fine.
live.
That's fine.
And I would have called in.
And put your mom
and
on.
I would have gone up
Yes.
to my bedroom and called in. And so my mom, oh, mijito, I heard you.
heard you
I
through the
saw you
screen.
I saw you on the thing.
Well, I think when the drunk line returns, you'll be able to call in, but it will primarily be people to be able to video call in, so
Okay.
you will
Oh,
see people as they
I
call in.
could've done that.
Primarily. Again, we're drinking together. It's a happy
True.
hour.
This is
you should
true.
be able to see
Yeah,
the people you're
that's
drinking
fine.
with.
This is
I-
very
it's
true.
coming.
I understand. And I agree.
There will also be music to the best things that I've drank this week.
Nice.
There will also hopefully be kind of going back to that sip count. There will also be music that I can hit while I'm taking a drink, so that it's not
And a
dead
little
air.
counter on the screen, and it'll just like ding, ding,
No, maybe not that, but
Okay.
just you know,
clicker.
hang
Oh,
on,
that's
the
awesome.
gnome's drinking a beer, something like that.
Oh, I like that.
Because I
That'll
can't,
be-
I
right.
can't drink and hear the dead
So-
silence in my head.
So it won't be back that ass up.
Nope, probably not.
Probably
Nope.
not. No.
Can't afford to pay that.
Well, that's all that I have for today. We thought this was going to be a shorter episode, but without cutting out
Sorry.
anything, we're at 1 hour and 37 minutes. So business as usual.
I blame cockleshells.
And then
Absolutely.
for
And
Patreon,
an animal.
I'm going to wrap back that ass up.
If you like what we've done tonight, tell a friend, tell a family member, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your pets. I don't know. Just tell people, like, rate, share, subscribe, review. We are on social media at Truth Beer Pod everywhere. Send us an email
Hide your
with
putty cat.
anything.
Look at that.
truthbeerpod@gmail.com. Go to our website, truthbeerpod.com, for information on absolutely everything that is us, including how to become a Patreon subscriber and a link to our sister podcast, Cincy Beer Events, where Marco and I tell you all about the upcoming beer events happening in and around the greater Cincinnati area. With that being said, Marco, Gnome, Happy New Year. Thank you for being here.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy
And what are you
New
guys going to be
Year.
doing next Tuesday?
Let's do this. Cheers,
do this.
everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
Happy New Year.